Hey, yo everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Detective Comics, issue number 4. Take a look at this comic cover right here, and a very nice looking comic cover at that. And it feels good to have a full comic book load this week. Last week was an incredibly light week with only 2 new comics, well actually 3 new comics. I picked up some Suicide Squad, and I also picked up Brightest Day, which I will be reviewing soon. It just feels good to have a lot of comics to read on Wednesday. So in saying that, let's actually jump into Detective Comics issue number 4. Now, issue number 4 is arguably the end of the first new story arc on Detective Comics, which kind of leads into what the next story arc is going to be. And last we left off, Batman was trying really hard to try to get his hands on the doll maker, to try to rescue Commissioner Gordon and also the little girl Olivia. And then there's always the problem of the Joker roaming around with no face, but we'll get into that a little bit later. See, the problem is something happened to Batman. Something that is actually a rarity for Batman. A rarity outside the Silver Age, in that Batman got captured. Batman doesn't get captured too much. In the Silver Age he did, and actually in the Golden Age he did a lot. Half the Silver Age stories were Batman getting captured, put into a death trap, and figure a way out of the death trap. But we're in the modern age, or the DCNU, so Batman getting captured is kind of a rarity. And he is strung up like a puppet, as you can see here, and forced to fight a bunch of Joker imposters. Now, at first I thought these Joker imposters were merely just individuals, henchmen of the Dollmaker, which they are, which have pieces of the Joker's face on them, but the Joker's face is actually not used for them. Various different other faces are used, or some other processes to use to make them look like the Joker. So Batman is strung up like a doll, like a puppet, and has to fight these Jokers. And this is all just to test the Batman to see if he is worth the price that is put on his head, because the doll maker looks to sell him to the highest bidder. And there is someone who is bidding a lot on the Batman. Who it is I won't reveal because I don't want to give too much away. Of course, we're talking about Batman here, and he's able to get out of the death trap and is in pursuit of the doll maker. And at the same time, Commissioner Gordon is strapped up and ready to be dissected by, well, possibly a lot of people. There's a lot of people that threaten him with knives in this issue, so be prepared. What exactly will happen? Will Batman be able to get the doll maker? Will he figure out who's put the bounty and the price on his head? Well, actually a lot of people really do, but who is specifically wants to put the bounty on Batman's head? And will Commissioner Gordon get out alive with the little girl? Exactly what will happen to this little girl if she does get out alive? Is she working for the doll maker, or is she just screwed up? Well, you're just going to have to read and see. So let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, first and foremost, as always, Tony Daniel's art is great. Some people actually don't really like his art, which I guess is fine, but I like his art. The only thing about Batman I don't like is he really makes the ears really short. But as you can see from the cover, it's a pretty good art. The story wraps up, for the most part, well. Kind of cliche on certain angles, particularly with the doll maker and what goes down with him. But for the most part, the story gets wrapped up well, and it leaves enough to lead into the next story. Which, again, I don't want to reveal who is behind paying to capture the Batman. Oh, they're not behind paying for capturing the Batman. They want to buy the Batman. But if you read and then you also look at the previews for later Batman Detective Comic issues, you can figure out who it is. So I do like how this kind of leads into the next story arc. The action, for the most part, is good, and this is kind of interesting, but I kind of like how Tony Daniel deals with Batman as a bit more of a vulnerable character. Batman and all the other comics he's in is kind of, you know, Batman at his best. Even though Scott Snyder said that he's eventually going to have Batman deal with the fact he's fighting something that he really can't handle, putting him at a point where he doesn't have his confidence. Batman in the Batman comic is a confident character, and he's able to outthink and outsmart and do what needs to be done. And Batman and Robin, the same thing. And you can even say that in The Dark Knight to a point. In Detective, Batman's a little bit more vulnerable. He makes mistakes sometimes, and it's actually kind of refreshing. Don't need it all the time, but it is a little bit refreshing. And also the ending, a little cliffhanger, which has to deal with the Joker, is enough to keep me interested. Enough to keep me interested. Bad. Like I said, the whole doll maker angle is kind of cliche on how it wraps up. It really is uninteresting. Been done before. Once you read it, you're gonna go, "Oh, really? You're gonna do that?" It's silly. Second thing is, although we do get a little bit more of what's going on with the Joker, I felt as though the Joker's presence in this could have been a little bit more. It seems as though, based off the first issue, they kind of hyped up that the Joker was going to be a factor in this, but he really doesn't play too much into the story towards the end. We get a little bit of a cliffhanger with the Joker and the removal of the face and such, but he really didn't play too much of a role. I don't know if it really hurts the story, but it does give false impressions to the reader, which can be bad. A lot. So that's another bad. Um, Other than that, for the most part, this was a good issue. Enjoyable. A lot of people have been kind of up and down with Tony Daniel as a writer, and I have made it no secret that I think he's a good writer when it comes down to Batman. Is he the best? No, but he's learning and he's growing. Again, this is a gentleman who is an artist first and then becomes a writer afterwards. I liked Detective Comics' first story arc. I liked the Doll Maker. I thought he was interesting, and I overall liked the direction that it was going. And I'm very interested on the next story arc because it is going to deal with the classic Batman villain that I particularly like. So on a whole, Detective Comics issue number 4 is a 4 out of 5 stars. Good issue, good action, wraps up stuff nicely, but at the same time leaves a bit open for the next story arc. It has a few faults here and there, but it was enjoyable, and I think a lot of people will enjoy this. So I do recommend picking it up. With that said, I'm going to end this review here. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.